The stars beyond station Orion shone like frozen sparks against the endless dark. The station floated quietly above the blue curve of the planet below. It was one of the largest human-built outposts near the border of unknown space. People here had seen traders, smugglers, diplomats, and pirates. But never something like this. That morning, the sensors detected a massive ship approaching. It was unlike anything human eyes had seen before. It looked alive. Its hull shimmered like a living shell, pulsing with faint crimson light. The crew stood in silence as the ship slowed to a halt near the docking bay. Commander Lewis, the head of the station, called everyone to the main hall. Soldiers lined the walls. Scientists gathered with their data tablets, whispering theories. Technicians watched nervously from the corners. Among them stood a quiet man named Ryan. He was a maintenance engineer known for fixing things nobody else could. He kept to himself, never seeking attention. The air inside the hall grew heavy as the alien vessel sent its signal. It was not a voice, but a vibration that hummed through the walls. Then the doors opened. A group of tall, pale figures stepped out, dressed in black armor that looked like flowing metal. At their center walked a woman unlike any human. Her skin was silver white, her eyes deep red like twin stars. Her long hair shimmered as if woven from liquid moonlight. When she moved, even the air seemed to follow her. Every person in the hall felt an instinctive chill. She was beautiful, but her presence carried power that could silence entire armies. "I am Valara, Queen of the Valir Dominion," she said in clear, calm words that somehow reached every ear, though her lips barely moved. "I have come to test the worth of humanity." No one spoke. Commander Lewis finally stepped forward. "Queen Valara, Earth welcomes you." "But what kind of test do you mean?" Valara's red eyes moved over the crowd. "Your blood holds the essence of what you are. To know your people, I will taste it. From each world I visit, I seek one being whose blood carries more than strength. It must carry truth." Her guards placed strange crystal bowls on the table. The sight made several humans uneasy. "You mean to drink from us?" one of the soldiers asked sharply. Valara turned to him. "Drink? No, I read through it. To my kind, blood is memory, spirit, and thought. A single drop can show the story of a soul." The commander nodded slowly, trying to appear calm. "And what happens after you choose?" Valara's expression remained unreadable. "The one whose blood speaks the loudest becomes my chosen. Together, we decide the bond between our species." The statement sent murmurs across the room. No one knew what chosen meant. Ryan watched quietly. He found himself studying her, not with fear, but with fascination. He noticed that though her voice was commanding, her eyes seemed tired, almost sorrowful. He wondered if she came seeking something more than alliance. After the Queen's speech, the testing chambers were prepared. Each volunteer would enter alone, give a single drop of blood, and leave. The Queen would taste it and decide. Hours passed as the trials began. The first volunteer was a Marine officer named Grant. He stepped forward proudly, his chin high. The Queen's guards took a small sample from his hand. Valara touched it with her finger, then lifted it to her lips. Her eyes closed for a brief moment. When she opened them again, her voice was cool. "Strength without purpose, ambition without heart," Grant frowned. "What does that mean?" "It means you have learned to fight, but not why you fight," she said. She turned away. The officer left with his pride wounded. Next came a scientist, then a medic, then a pilot. Each time the Queen spoke words that were calm but final. She praised their courage, but found their essence hollow. "Too much logic. Too little feeling," she said once. Another time she said, "Fear hides behind discipline." The crowd grew restless. People began to whisper that no one would ever satisfy her. Ryan stayed near the back, fixing a flickering light on the wall. His friend Lena, a young medical officer, nudged him. "You should go next," she said. He shook his head. "I am no soldier or scientist." "What would she find in me?" "Maybe something real," Lena replied. "You fix things. You listen? Maybe that's what she is looking for." Ryan smiled weakly. I fix machines, not empires. Still, the thought stayed in his mind. He watched as more people failed the Queen's test. Valara's expression grew sharper each time. The glow around her dimmed slightly, as if disappointment weighed on her. After hours, the hall was nearly empty. Commander Lewis looked uneasy. "Your Majesty," he said, "we have given you the best of our people. Perhaps this test is not meant for us." Valara turned her gaze on him. "You misunderstand, Commander. Your best are not always your truest. I do not seek perfection. I seek the voice of humanity itself." Just then, a guard checked the roster and called the next name. Ryan Hale. Ryan froze. He had not signed up. Someone must have entered his name by mistake. Before he could protest, Lena pushed him forward gently. "Go," she whispered. He hesitated, then walked toward the chamber. Inside, the room was cold and bright. Valara stood alone, waiting. Up close, her presence felt even stronger. Yet Ryan noticed her eyes again. They were not cruel, only curious. "State your name," she said. "Ryan Hale, Technician Station Orion." She tilted her head slightly. "You were not eager to be tested. I did not plan to be," he said honestly. "But I am here now." Her lips curved faintly. "Honesty is rare among those who fear me." The guard pricked his finger and placed a single drop of blood on a small silver plate. Valara lifted it gently and held it to the light. The crimson shimmer reflected in her eyes. Then she touched it to her tongue. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then her body stiffened. Her eyes widened. The red glow in them deepened until the room was filled with soft light. She stepped closer. Her voice trembled slightly when she spoke. "Your blood speaks." Ryan looked confused. "What do you mean?" Valara's gaze locked on him. "It is filled with memories that are not only of you, but of all humanity. I saw fire and rain. I saw loss and laughter. I saw a mother holding her child and soldiers helping strangers. I saw kindness that asks for nothing in return." Ryan did not know what to say. Valara whispered, "I have tasted blood from 100 worlds. None carried this. Yours does." Her guards shifted uneasily. The commander, watching from outside through the glass, looked shocked. Ryan finally asked, "So what does it mean?" Valara stepped back slowly. "It means your kind is more than I believed. And it means you, Ryan Hale, are not ordinary." The silence in the chamber was heavy. The Queen turned to her guards. "Prepare my private chamber. I must speak with him again." Ryan stared at her, unsure whether to feel honored or afraid. When he returned to the hall, everyone stared at him. Lena ran to his side. "What happened? Did she choose you?" "I don't know," Ryan said quietly. "But she said something strange. She said my blood speaks." People began whispering again. Some looked amazed. Others looked jealous. Commander Lewis watched him with suspicion, unsure if this was a blessing or a curse. The Queen left the hall without another word, her guards following. Before stepping out, she glanced back at Ryan. For a moment, their eyes met. Her expression softened for the first time. Later that night, Ryan sat in his small quarters, staring at the stars through the window. His mind was restless. He had never believed in fate or destiny. He was just a man who repaired broken circuits and leaky air vents. But now the most powerful alien in the galaxy had looked into his soul and found something no one else could. He wondered what she had truly seen in him. Across the docking bay, the alien ship pulsed faintly with crimson light. Inside her chamber, Valara sat alone, deep in thought. The memory of Ryan's blood replayed in her mind. She had seen wars, hatred, and ambition across countless species, but never the strange warmth she found in him. She whispered softly to herself, "What are you, human?" The question lingered in the air like a quiet echo as the stars drifted beyond the station. Two beings from distant worlds had crossed paths, and neither yet knew how deeply that single drop of blood would change everything to come. The next morning on Station Orion began with uneasy silence. The news about the Queen's reaction to Ryan's blood had spread through every corner of the station. Some people were amazed, others suspicious. Too many, Ryan was no longer just a quiet technician. He had become a mystery that even the leaders could not explain. Ryan walked through the corridors, while people whispered around him. Some smiled at him with respect, others stepped away as if he carried danger. He did not understand how a single drop of blood could change his life so suddenly. He wanted to return to his work, but deep down, he knew that nothing would ever be the same. In the command hall, Commander Lewis and several officers discussed the Queen's next move. Reports said that Valara had not left her ship all night. Her guards refused to answer any questions. The station's scientists wanted to study her blood-reading ability, but no one dared to ask her directly. Ryan was called to the main deck by Lena. She met him near the lift and handed him a tablet. "They want you to attend the next round of trials," she said quietly. "I thought she'd already tested everyone," Ryan replied. "She wants to test more volunteers," Lena explained. "She said she has not yet found her chosen one, but she wants you present during the next phase." Ryan frowned. "Why me?" "Maybe she saw something in you that helps her understand others," Lena said with a soft smile. "Just be careful, Ryan. Everyone here is watching you." When they reached the grand chamber, the Queen was already there. She stood before a long table with silver instruments and glowing crystal bowls. Her guards stood silently around her, their eyes scanning the humans. The crimson light from her ship reflected through the windows, filling the room with an eerie glow. Valara turned when she saw Ryan enter. Her voice was calm but firm. "Ryan Hale, you will stay near me during the next trials. Your blood carries resonance that may help me sense the truth in others." Ryan bowed his head slightly. "As you wish, Your Majesty." She studied him for a moment before turning to the gathered crowd. "Bring forth the next volunteer." A young officer stepped forward. His name was Red, known for his courage during a rescue mission months ago. He stood tall, proud to represent humanity. One of Valara's guards pricked his finger and placed a drop of his blood on the silver plate. Valara lifted it gently and closed her eyes as she tasted it. After a few seconds, she opened them again and shook her head. "You are brave, but your courage is built on pride. You fight to prove yourself, not to protect." Reed's face hardened. He wanted to argue, but could not find the strength to speak. He stepped back silently. Valara motioned for another volunteer. A scientist named Mira approached nervously. Her hands shook slightly as she gave her sample. When the Queen tasted it, her expression softened for a brief moment. "You seek knowledge for peace, but you hide fear under your curiosity. Fear clouds your light." Mira looked both relieved and saddened. "Thank you, Your Majesty," she whispered, then left the chamber. The tests continued one after another. Soldiers, engineers, and doctors all stepped forward, yet none were chosen. Valara grew more frustrated each time. Her guards began to whisper in their strange alien language. Ryan watched closely, sensing that something deeper was happening behind her calm face. During a short pause, Commander Lewis approached the Queen. "With all respect, Your Majesty, perhaps you are searching for something that does not exist. Humanity is flawed. Maybe that is what makes us human." Valara looked at him with eyes that seemed to pierce through his soul. "Flaws are not weakness, Commander. They are marks of experience. But I cannot sense harmony in your people. Each heart speaks a different song, and none are complete." She turned toward Ryan. Except one. Ryan felt everyone's eyes turn to him. "I do not understand," he said. "You do not need to," Valara replied. "You are my measure now. When I read another's blood, your essence echoes within it. It helps me see their truth more clearly." Ryan did not know what to say. He nodded quietly and stepped closer, standing near her side. He felt the strange energy that surrounded her, a mix of warmth and cold, power and sadness. The next volunteer was Lena. She walked forward confidently, but smiled nervously at Ryan before facing the Queen. "If you wish to understand humanity, then take mine too," she said kindly. Valara gave a slight nod. The guard drew a drop of Lena's blood and handed it to the Queen. When Valara touched it to her lips, her expression changed. Her eyes closed, and she stood still for a long moment. When she opened them, her voice was softer. You are pure of heart. You carry care for others, even when you are in pain yourself. But you are afraid of losing those you love. You must not let fear rule your kindness. Lena looked surprised. How do you know that? Your blood told me, Valera said. She glanced at Ryan. You two are close. Ryan nodded. She is my friend. Valera looked between them, her eyes thoughtful. Friendship built on loyalty. It is rare among your kind. Cherish it. The trials went on until the chamber was filled with exhaustion. Dozens had come and gone, but Valera had not found what she sought. She finally raised her hand. Enough for today, Commander Lewis sighed. So you still have not chosen? Valera looked distant, as if lost in thought. No, but I am closer. When the hall emptied, she remained behind with Ryan. The silence between them was deep but not uncomfortable. The soft hum of her ship echoed faintly through the floor. Tell me something, human, Valera said after a while. When you fight, why do you do it? Ryan thought for a moment. I don't fight much, Your Majesty. I fix things. Machines, systems, small problems. I believe if we can repair what is broken, we can prevent fights from happening. Valera tilted her head slightly. Repairing instead of destroying. An uncommon view, Ryan gave a small smile. Maybe, but it works most of the time. She studied him for a moment longer. You see value where others see waste. That is what I sensed in your blood. You mend not just with tools, but with spirit. He looked surprised. You could see that? I could feel it, Valera said. Her voice grew quieter. My people once felt as you do. Long ago, before power blinded us. We no longer understand healing. We only take and control. Ryan looked at her with curiosity. Is that why you came here? To find something your people lost? Her gaze turned toward the stars beyond the window. Perhaps. Or maybe I came to remember what we once were. She turned back to him. Tomorrow, I will continue the trials. Stay with me again. I wish to understand more about your kind through you. Nodded. I will, Your Majesty. She walked past him slowly, her cloak flowing like mist. As she left, he noticed something he had not before. Her steps were heavy, as if each movement carried the weight of centuries. That night Ryan could not sleep. He sat at his desk, staring at the small silver mark left on his finger from the blood test. He thought about the Queen's words, about how she spoke of harmony and truth. He wondered what it meant for someone like him, a simple technician, to be part of something so far beyond his understanding. Across the station, others whispered about him. Some believed he was special. Others thought the Queen was using him for her own reasons. Commander Lewis even ordered secret surveillance on Ryan's quarters, fearing that the alien might try to influence him. But Ryan did not care about fame or fear. He only cared about understanding what the Queen truly wanted. Meanwhile, aboard her living ship, Valera sat inside a dark chamber surrounded by glowing crystals. Her guards knelt before her, waiting for orders. One of them spoke. My Queen, why do you give so much attention to this human? Valera's eyes glowed faintly, because his essence is unlike any I have known. His blood carries what our kind has forgotten. Empathy. Another guard asked carefully. Do you trust him? Valera looked toward the window where Earth's blue light reflected in her eyes. I trust his nature. Whether the first trust his kind is yet to be seen. She dismissed her guards and closed her eyes. The memory of Ryan's blood filled her mind again. She saw flashes of his life. A small home on a colony world, laughter with friends, nights of quiet work fixing broken circuits. Simple moments, yet full of meaning. For the first time in many years, Valera felt something close to peace. The next day, the trials resumed. More people lined up, but Ryan noticed a change in the Queen. She spoke with softer tone, as if she had learned something from the day before. She listened carefully to each volunteer and explained their strengths and weaknesses without judgment. By noon, the line was gone, but the Queen seemed unsettled. Still none, she murmured. None but you. Ryan looked puzzled. What happens if you never find another? She turned to him slowly. Then perhaps I've already found what I came for. Her words hung in the air, heavy with meaning. Ryan did not answer. He only met her gaze, and for the first time. He saw warmth in her eyes. The guards escorted her back to her ship, but before she left, she spoke softly. "Return tomorrow. There is more I wish to learn from you." Ryan stood in silence as she departed. Lena joined him a moment later. "What did she say?" "She said she wants to learn from me," Ryan replied. Lena smiled gently. "Then maybe that is not a bad thing." Ryan looked toward the docking bay where the alien ship rested. The crimson glow pulsed like a heartbeat. He felt something stir inside him, a strange connection he could not explain. Far above, in her ship, Valara watched the human station through the glass wall of her. The third day began with quiet tension across Station Orion. The alien vessel still hovered outside, its crimson light reflecting on the glass walls. People spoke in hushed tones, wondering what the Queen wanted from Ryan and why she continued her strange trials. Some called him the Chosen One already. Others whispered that he was cursed. Ryan tried to ignore the rumors. He walked through the corridors with his usual, calm step, though inside he felt uncertain. The Queen's words from the day before kept echoing in his mind. She had said she might have already found what she was looking for. He did not know if she meant him or something else hidden in humanity. When he reached the docking bay, 2 of the Queen's guards were waiting. They wore black armor that shimmered faintly with red light. One of them stepped forward. "The Queen requests your presence, human." Ryan nodded without hesitation. "I will come." They escorted him through the large airlock into the alien vessel. The moment he stepped inside, the air felt different. It was cooler and carried a faint metallic scent. The walls seemed alive, pulsing gently like the inside of a living being. Soft lights glowed from unseen sources, shifting colors with every step. The guards led him through curved corridors until they reached a wide chamber filled with crystal structures that floated above the floor. In the center stood the Queen, her long silver hair falling over a dark gown that shimmered like liquid glass. She turned when she sensed his presence. "Ryan Hale," she said softly. "You came." "I said I would," he replied. "You wanted to learn more about us." Valara studied him carefully. "Yes, and I also wish to understand why your essence carries such balance. My people have lost what you still hold. I want to see through your memories." Ryan looked uncertain. "You mean by tasting my blood again?" She nodded gently. "Only a small drop. It will not harm you. When I tasted it before, I saw fragments. This time, I want to see the truth behind them." He hesitated, then took a slow breath. "If it helps you understand us, then I will agree." Valara motioned him forward. Her hands were cold and delicate as she drew a small drop of blood from his finger. She touched it to her lips, her eyes closing as the glow around her deepened. Ryan stood silently, feeling the air vibrate as if the ship itself responded to her power. In her mind, images flooded in. She saw a young boy sitting beside a broken radio, trying to fix it for his mother. She saw a man standing alone during a storm, refusing to abandon his work until the power returned for an entire village. She saw laughter shared with friends, loss endured quietly, and kindness offered without reward. Valara opened her eyes slowly. Her expression had changed. There was no arrogance now, only quiet wonder. "I saw your life," she said. "It is simple, yet full of meaning. You live not for glory, but for care. You mend what others ignore. Your heart speaks of balance." Ryan looked down, unsure how to respond. "I just try to do what feels right." Valara stepped closer, her gaze fixed on him. "That is what makes you rare. You follow feeling before command. You heal before you harm. My people used to live that way before power consumed us." She walked toward a nearby crystal structure and placed her hand on it. The crystal glowed, showing faint images of another world. Ryan saw towering cities made of dark metal and red skies filled with storms. He saw tall figures with pale skin and crimson eyes. Their faces were proud but empty. "This is my home," Valara said quietly. "Once, we were creators. We built wonders that touched the stars. But then we began to hunger for control. We discovered that through blood, we could share thoughts, power, and life itself. Over time, we stopped feeling, We only consumed. Ryan watched the moving images. That sounds lonely, it is, Valara said softly. We became immortal, but hollow. Our emotions faded, and now our empire weakens. My people believe that by tasting the blood of other species, we can regain what was lost. But none have given us what your kind has. You mean emotion? She turned to him. Yes, true emotion. Yours are wild and painful, but they give meaning to existence. Without them, even endless life feels empty. He nodded slowly. Maybe that is what makes being human worth it. We hurt, but we also love. We fail, but we try again. Valara looked at him for a long moment. You speak wisdom with humility. Many of your kind speak of power, but you speak of heart. Ryan smiled faintly. Maybe because I fix broken things. I see what happens when something loses balance. For the first time since they met, Valara smiled back. It was a small, almost invisible smile, but it softened her whole face. You repair machines? I seek to repair a people. Perhaps we are not so different. Ryan chuckled lightly. Maybe not. Their eyes met, and for a brief moment, neither spoke. The air between them felt alive with quiet understanding. After a pause, Valara turned to one of her guards. Leave us. The guards hesitated but obeyed, stepping out of the chamber. The door sealed behind them with a soft sound. She faced Ryan again. There is more I wish to know, but I cannot see it through blood alone. Tell me, what do humans feel when they love? Ryan blinked in surprise. That is a hard question. I want to understand, she said gently. We have lost that feeling. Among my kind, there is loyalty, there is desire, but not love. Not as you know it. Ryan took a slow breath, searching for words. Love is not simple. It can be quiet or fierce. It is when you care about someone so deeply that their happiness matters more than your own. It can make you strong or it can break you, but it always gives meaning. Valara listened in silence. So it is both pain and strength. Yes, Ryan said. Without one, the other cannot exist. She lowered her gaze. Then we are far from it. We only take, we never give. Ryan stepped closer. Maybe that can change. She looked up at him again. Her red eyes reflected light like liquid fire. Change is difficult for immortals. But not impossible, he said softly. If you are willing to try. Valara studied him carefully. You speak as if you believe in me. I believe in what I see, Ryan replied. And I see someone who wants to save her people, not rule them. Her eyes widened slightly. No one had ever spoken to her that way. For centuries, her words had only been met with fear or obedience. Now, a simple human looked at her without fear and spoke truth. Your courage is strange, she said. You are not afraid of me. Ryan smiled a little. I was at first, but now I think you are more lonely than dangerous. Valara laughed softly, a sound that echoed through the living walls like music. Lonely? Yes, perhaps I am. For a while, they stood in silence. The ship pulsed gently around them, as if listening to their voices. Then Valara spoke again. Ryan Hale, I will tell you something I have told no other. My reign is weakening. Many of my nobles question my decisions. They think compassion is weakness. They will see my interest in you as betrayal. Ryan looked concerned. Will they harm you? She shook her head slowly. They will try to take control, but I am not afraid of them. I am only afraid of what my people will become if we continue without change. He nodded. Then maybe you should show them what change looks like. She raised an eyebrow. And what would that be? Start with understanding, Ryan said. Show them that strength can come from care, not just fear. Valara thought about his words for a moment. You speak as if you could lead empires. He smiled faintly. I can barely lead a team of engineers. Perhaps that is why your wisdom is pure, she said softly. Before Ryan could reply, the chamber's lights flickered. Valara turned sharply. One of her guards rushed back inside. My queen, a message from the High Council. They request your immediate response. They have detected emotional interference within your aura. Valara's expression darkened. They are monitoring me. Yes, my queen. They are concerned about the human. Ryan stepped back slightly, sensing danger. I did not mean to cause trouble. Valara raised her hand. You are not the cause. They fear what they cannot feel. She turned to the guard. Tell the council that I will respond when I choose. The guard bowed and left quickly. Ryan looked uneasy. If your people disapprove of you being here, maybe I should leave. No. Valara said firmly. You will stay. What they call interference is what I call truth. Ryan hesitated, then nodded. Then I will stay. Valara looked at him again, her eyes softer now. You risk much for someone not of your world. Sometimes understanding is worth the risk, Ryan said quietly. She stepped closer until they stood only a few steps apart. Perhaps that is what love feels like. He held her gaze. Maybe it is. For a moment, neither moved. The hum of the ship filled the silence. Then Valara turned away, her voice steady again. Tomorrow, I will return to the station. I must show your leaders that my choice has meaning, Ryan asked. Do you mean your choice to keep working with me? She nodded. Yes, they must see that your kind has something my people need, and perhaps my people must see that as well. Ryan gave a small, respectful bow. Then I will stand by your side. Valara watched him for a long time. Then you are not only my measure, Ryan Hale. You are now my bridge between two worlds. He looked at her with quiet determination. I will do my best. She smiled again, faint but real. That is all I ask. As he left the chamber, Valara watched him disappear into the glowing corridor. She felt something within her chest she had not felt in centuries. It was not hunger, not power, but warmth. It pulsed in rhythm with her heart, a reminder that even the coldest blood can feel life again. The morning light on Station Orion reflected off the metallic walls, painting the corridors with cold silver. Despite the calm outside, the station buzzed with tension. Rumors of the Queen's interest in Ryan had spread rapidly. Some humans were curious, but among the Valir guards and nobles, whispers carried suspicion and anger. Valara's guards reported that the High Council had grown concerned. They feared that the Queen's fascination with a human could weaken her authority. Some Valir nobles already whispered of betrayal. To them, a human could not be worthy of their queen. They plotted quietly, waiting for a moment to strike. Ryan, unaware of the full depth of the threat, continued his usual routine on the station. He was called to the main chamber again by the Queen, this time to assist in the next part of her trials. He walked through the docking bay with Lena, who tried to offer comfort. You must be careful, she said quietly. I heard the nobles are not happy about you being near her. Ryan nodded slowly. I will be careful. But I cannot ignore what she is trying to do. Maybe she can help both our peoples. Lena smiled faintly. I hope you are right. Inside the chamber, Valara waited. Her expression was calm, but her red eyes held the weight of centuries. Ryan Hale, she said softly, stay close. Today, we begin the true testing of human courage and spirit. I must see their hearts in action. Ryan watched as the volunteers prepared themselves. Today's challenge was not just blood, but action. Each human would face simulated crises designed to test their instincts, loyalty, and courage. The first trial involved a malfunctioning section of the station, where a simulated reactor leak could cause massive damage. Soldiers and engineers worked quickly to contain the threat. Valara watched closely, tasting their blood as each performed their duties. One volunteer, a young engineer named Joran, panicked under pressure. His hands trembled as he tried to stabilize the reactor. When Valara tasted his blood, she shook her head. Fear clouds your purpose. You focus on yourself instead of the greater good. Joran stepped back, ashamed. I tried my best, he whispered. You tried, but you do not understand the balance needed to protect others, Valara replied softly. The next volunteer, a seasoned officer named Mara, acted with precision. She coordinated the team and risked herself to stabilize the reactor. Valara's eyes narrowed as she tasted her blood. Courage, without selfish thought. You protect without expectation. Strong, but not unique enough. Ryan watched, understanding the queen's method. She did not seek strength alone. She sought empathy, loyalty, and the spark of something deeper. Finally, it was Ryan's turn. He stepped forward quietly, feeling the weight of every eye on him. The simulated reactor hummed with danger, alarms blaring. He could hear the tension in the other volunteers' voices. He approached the panel and began working methodically, recalling years of experience with machinery. Sparks flew, panels flickered, but he did not panic. He coordinated with the soldiers, guiding them to stabilize the systems while keeping himself safe. Valara tasted his blood again. The glow around her deepened, her expression softening. Your actions are not guided by fear nor by pride. You protect because it is right. Your courage is quiet but steadfast. Your heart carries the weight of others without hesitation. Ryan felt a surge of relief. The danger in the simulation ended, and the volunteers stepped back, exhausted. Valara nodded approvingly. This is the quality I seek. Not power alone, not skill alone, but balance, courage, and care. Her guards exchanged uneasy glances. One of them whispered, "My queen, the nobles will see this as favoritism." Valara ignored them, her eyes still on Ryan. Let them see. Let them understand that true strength is not born of domination, but of empathy. Later that day, as the queen prepared to leave the chamber, a message arrived from the High Council. It was urgent. A group of Valyr nobles had begun a coup, claiming the queen's fascination with a human had compromised her authority. They were moving toward the chamber with weapons and soldiers. Valara's eyes narrowed. So they act without understanding. Ryan stepped forward. "What should we do?" "Protect me," Valara said simply. "And protect yourself. I will not allow my people to destroy what I have found." The chamber doors opened as a group of armed Valyr nobles stormed in. Their faces were cold and proud, but fear lingered in their eyes. "Your Majesty," one of them said sharply, "we cannot allow this human to influence you. Step away from him." Valara's voice rang like steel. "I choose my path. This human is no threat to me, but your ignorance is." The nobles hesitated, unsure of how to respond to her defiance. Ryan moved instinctively, placing himself between the queen and the intruders. He was not a soldier, but his courage and resolve were clear. Valara touched her lips lightly, tasting a drop of Ryan's blood once more. Her eyes glowed with power, and she moved forward. Her presence alone caused the nobles to falter. "Leave or face the consequences of your arrogance," she commanded. A battle began. Ryan dodged and guided humans away from the fighting. Valara used her alien strength and speed to disable the attackers without killing them. The chamber became a whirl of light and movement, yet she acted with control, targeting only those who threatened her or the humans. Ryan was injured when a guard struck him with a non-lethal weapon, but he did not fall. He continued to protect others and keep the path clear for the queen. Each time she touched his blood, she felt the courage and selflessness that defined him. Finally, the rebellion was quelled. The nobles and their soldiers were captured, unable to continue their coup. Valara's presence dominated the chamber, her calm authority undeniable. She turned to Ryan, gently touching his arm. "You risked yourself for me and for others," she said. "Your blood speaks of sacrifice and loyalty. You have shown what it truly means to be human." Ryan looked at her, still catching his breath. "I did not want to fail. I just did what I thought was right." "Exactly," Valara said softly. "And that is what sets you apart. This is why I've chosen you. Not for power, not for strength, but because your heart is true." The chamber was silent, filled only with the hum of her ship and the heavy breaths of those who had fought. The humans who witnessed the battle whispered among themselves. Realizing that the quiet technician had become more than they imagined, Valara turned to her guards. "Release the prisoners, but remind them of loyalty. Let them see that true leadership is born from respect and understanding, not fear." Her guards obeyed, leading the defeated nobles away under careful watch. The chamber felt lighter after the conflict, though tension still lingered. Ryan looked at the queen. "Does this mean you have chosen me?" Valara's red eyes softened. Yes, Ryan Hale. Among all I have seen, among all I have tasted, your blood carries what my people have lost. You are the first human I have ever chosen. You are more than my measure. You are my bond to a new future. Ryan felt a strange warmth spread through him. He had never expected anything like this. He was not a soldier, not a ruler, just a technician. Yet here he stood, chosen by the most powerful alien in the galaxy. Valara took a step closer. Her presence gentle now, almost protective. Tomorrow, we will begin the work to strengthen our bond. But tonight, rest. You have earned it. Ryan nodded, still stunned. Lena found him later and smiled warmly. I knew you could do it, she said softly. I didn't do it for recognition, Ryan said quietly. I did what I thought was right. That is all. And yet that is why she chose you, Lena replied. As night fell over Station Orion, the stars above seemed brighter than ever. Inside her ship, Valara reflected on the day. She had seen courage, loyalty, and sacrifice in a single human. She had seen hope for her people through him. For the first time in centuries, she felt that change was possible, not only for humanity and the Valir, but for herself. A bond had begun, fragile yet unbreakable, between two beings from worlds apart, and somewhere deep inside, she whispered a quiet promise. She would protect him as he had protected her, and together they would face the trials that awaited both their peoples. The rebellion within had been quelled, but the greater challenge was just beginning. The bond between human and queen, between two species, would be tested in ways neither had yet imagined. The morning sun reflected off Station Orion's metal corridors with a cold silver glow. Though the immediate threat from the rebellious nobles had been quelled, tension still lingered. Humans and Valir alike whispered about the queen's bond with Ryan. Some feared it, some envied it, but none could ignore it. Ryan walked through the station quietly. Observing the reactions of those around him, he felt a mix of pride and unease. He had not asked for attention or power, yet somehow he had become the center of it all. Lena joined him as he moved toward the command hall. They are watching you, she said softly. Even the soldiers are unsure whether to trust you or fear you. Ryan nodded. I cannot worry about that. I just need to focus on helping the queen. That is all that matters, Lena smiled. Then let us go. She awaits. Inside the chamber, Valara stood tall and calm. Her red eyes glowed softly in the light of her ship. She turned when Ryan entered, her expression unreadable for a moment. Then slowly, a faint smile appeared. Ryan Hale, she said, today we face the final decision. Not just for you, but for all our people. The council has challenged me, yet I will show them what true leadership means. Ryan looked at her carefully. What do you want me to do? Valara gestured toward the observation deck. Stand with me. Let your essence speak to those who doubt us. Today we prove that humanity has a place among the stars, and that the bond between us can be stronger than fear. Soldiers and nobles gathered in the hall. Some were tense, others curious. The room was silent as the Queen's guards formed a protective circle around Valara and Ryan. The Queen spoke, her voice carrying with authority and calm. My people, she began, you have questioned my choices. You have doubted my judgment. But today, I will show you why I chose this human. Not for power, not for strength, but for the heart he carries, which my people have long forgotten. She turned to Ryan. Step forward, human. Ryan walked beside her, feeling the weight of every eye upon him. He felt nervous, but determined. He did not fight for recognition. He fought because he believed in doing what was right. Valara extended her hand toward him. Allow me to show them what your blood carries. A small drop of Ryan's blood appeared, taken by one of her guards. Valara tasted it gently. The room seemed to shift. Light flickered and a soft glow filled the chamber. Images appeared in the minds of everyone present. Humans and Valir alike saw flashes of Ryan's life, his quiet efforts to help others, his courage in small but meaningful moments, his empathy and loyalty. They saw him fix broken machines, guide others safely, and care for those in need without seeking reward. The Valir nobles stiffened, unable to hide their surprise. Their queen had just shown them something they had never understood. True strength was not always in power or conquest. It could be in the simple acts of kindness and courage. Valara spoke again, her voice calm and firm. Ryan Hale carries what our people have lost. His blood speaks of heart, loyalty, and balance. He is the bridge between humans and Valir. Through him, we can understand each other and grow stronger together. A low murmur ran through the hall. Some nobles tried to argue, but the vision of Ryan's life left them speechless. Even the most skeptical soldiers could see the truth in the images. Ryan took a deep breath. I am just a human. I have no power beyond what I can do for others. I do not ask to be chosen for glory. I only wish to help both your people and mine. Valara looked at him with respect and admiration. That is why I chose you. You understand that true strength comes from caring, not dominating. You are not ordinary. You are extraordinary because you act without selfish intent. The queen turned to the gathered nobles and soldiers. Let this day be remembered not as a moment of fear, but as the moment we begin a new path. A path where humans and Valir work together, where compassion guides leadership, and where courage comes from the heart.
Ow.
The crowd slowly grew silent, then erupted in cautious applause. Some still whispered doubts, but many nodded, understanding that change was necessary. The queen had not only chosen a human, but she had also shown her people a new way to think and live. After the council meeting ended, Valara and Ryan returned to her ship. The crimson glow pulsed softly, as if the vessel itself recognized the bond forming between them. Valara turned to Ryan. You have proven yourself not only to me, but to my people. You have risked yourself, faced fear, and shown courage that speaks louder than words. Now, you are truly my chosen. Ryan felt a mix of awe and humility. I am honored, Your Majesty. I never imagined that my life could matter so much. She smiled gently. It is not your life alone that matters. It is what you carry within it, your heart, your courage, your willingness to stand for others. That is why I chose you. He looked at her with sincerity. Then I will continue to do what I can, for you, for your people, and for mine. Valara stepped closer, her hand brushing lightly against his arm. And I will stand by you. Together, we will face the challenges that come. Not as ruler and subject, but as equals, as partners, as allies. Ryan nodded, feeling a sense of purpose he had never known before. He was no longer just a technician on a station. He had become a symbol of hope, of courage, and of the potential for unity between species. Days passed, and the alliance between humans and Valir began to strengthen. Valara and Ryan worked closely, guiding both species to cooperate in projects that combined human ingenuity with Valir technology. They repaired stations, developed new systems for interstellar travel, and shared knowledge of medicine, energy, and engineering. Through their efforts, the people of both worlds began to see the benefits of cooperation. Humans learned about the discipline and wisdom of the Valir, while the Valir rediscovered empathy, compassion, and the value of emotion. Slowly, centuries of distrust and isolation began to fade. Ryan and Valara spent long hours together, not only in planning and leadership, but in understanding each other's worlds. Ryan learned about Valir history, their victories, and their mistakes. Valara learned about human resilience, creativity, and the depth of feeling that defined their kind. One evening, as the stars reflected in the windows of the Queen's chamber, Ryan spoke softly. I never imagined that one day I would stand beside an alien queen, helping both our peoples. Valara smiled. And I never imagined I would find a human whose essence speaks to me more than any other being in the galaxy. They stood together in silence, feeling the weight of their shared responsibilities, but also the connection that had grown between them. It was a bond formed through trust, courage, and understanding, a bond that neither time nor distance could break. Over time, their relationship became a symbol of hope across the galaxy. Other humans and Valir began to form alliances, learning from the example set by Ryan and Valara. Conflicts that once seemed inevitable were resolved with negotiation, understanding, and compromise. The Queen's people began to thrive again, regaining the emotions and empathy they had lost over centuries. Humans and Valir discovered that by working together, they could accomplish feats neither species could achieve alone in the quiet moments. Valara would look at Ryan and remember the first time she tasted his blood. She remembered the courage, kindness, and balance she had seen within him. And she realized that her choice was not just about finding a worthy being, it was about finding hope, compassion, and a reminder of what life could be. Ryan, in turn, looked at Valara and saw not just an alien queen, but a being capable of great care, wisdom, and change. He knew that their bond was unique, built on trust, courage, and shared purpose. Together, it not only survived the trials of power and suspicion, but had created a new path for two civilizations as the stars shone brightly above. Ryan and Valara stood side by side, knowing that the galaxy had changed because of their courage, their choices, and their willingness to understand each other. And in that moment, the alien vampire queen and the human she had chosen began a story that would echo across worlds, a story of courage, love, and hope that would be remembered for generations to come. The bond between them was no longer just about blood. It was about trust, respect, and the power of hearts that dared to stand together. The galaxy had witnessed the rise of a new Aegean age, where humans and Valir could grow, learn, and thrive together. And at the center of that change stood a humble technician in the Queen, who had found in him the spark of life and hope that even an immortal being could feel.